We can now go across to France 24's Charles Pellegrin standing by in Beijing. Charles, you heard there, we had, good news from two American pharmaceutical companies in the span of a week. How is China faring in the global race for a COVID-19 vaccine?
So there are currently 4 Chinese vaccines that are in stage 3 clinical trials. That's the last stage of clinical trials before getting approval by the health authorities. And to give you an idea, there are currently 13 vaccines around the world are at that stage, so 4 of them are Chinese. Now, there's one difference here is that those 4 Chinese vaccines have currently also received limited approval by Chinese authorities to be injected in some select groups of people. So here in China, some medical workers, some military personnel, or even just Chinese people who are going abroad have been injected with these vaccines that are still technically in clinical trials. According to one chairman of a Chinese pharmaceutical group, actually in early October, he said that 350,000 Chinese people had become recipients of these vaccines. So this is the result of a huge push from the Chinese authorities, with Xi Jinping himself urging Chinese scientists to accelerate their work. And obviously there can be adverse effects to this, with unknown side effects appearing with some of those recipients. But what's important to know is that getting authorization for a vaccine is not the end of the COVID-19 vaccine race. It continues with distribution, and that's where China has a leg up with its manufacturing and production capacity that is very competitive around the world. And actually the CEO of Sinovac, one of the manufacturers of these vaccines here in China, has said that he's aiming for global distribution of doses by early 2021.
But Charles, what exactly is this, vaccine race all about? Is it about Beijing repairing its reputation abroad?
There is definitely an element of this. China's reputation is still reeling from its mishandling of the early days of the epidemic at the beginning of 2020 in Wuhan. And actually, this has been clear with a new Pew poll that was released in early October that showed historic highs in the levels of unfavorable opinions that people had of China in many different countries around the world. So in order to try and overcome this deficit and to rebuild China's image, China is leading the charge in this COVID-19 vaccine race. Xi Jinping has vowed to make a Chinese vaccine a global public good, and China has joined the WHO-led COVAX initiative, which seeks to reach an equitable distribution of vaccines around the world. An initiative that has so far not been joined by the United States.
Charles, thank you very much for that. Charles Pellegrin reporting there for us from Beijing.